It is never fun to have to hand the powder keg back over to New Hampton at the end of the day. But what I think I love more about sports, more than winning, is what it teaches us as humans. Think about it. In what other venue are you taught over and over again the importance of discipline, the value of teamwork, and the advantage of being both mentally and physically tough? Sports are special and are constantly teaching us a new life skill or a new life lesson that we can keep with us long after we hang up our jersey. I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with you all this weekend. Between emceeing the pep rally on Friday, multiple games on Saturday, and winter practices on Sunday, you're definitely probably sick of me being around. However, during the entire weekend, I was able to reflect and smile. Because I knew sports is what brought us together, to have these special moments as a community. And that's, without sports, things would be really different. Take a moment now to remember what you felt like on Saturday as we lined the sidelines in the final minutes of the boys soccer game. Because I never felt more proud, even in a 3-3 tie, to call myself a Ram and to continue to call Tilton School my home. No task is too big or too small when it comes to athletics. So I will start with a collective thank you to everyone involved in the fall season, especially our athletic training staff, the communications office, housekeeping, maintenance, sage dining, and so many others not mentioned. Thank you to Ms. Johnson, Mr. Carter, Ms. Borbo, and Mr. Preston for their tireless efforts day in and day out. This group of powerhouse people is what fueled our ability to play athletic contests without any hiccups every week. I am truly fortunate to have a department like them to work with, and I feel extra special to have Ms. Johnson as my assistant. This department functions as well as it does at a high level because of her. The final thank you goes to all of our families, fans, faculty, student athletes, and coaches. Thank you for a fall season that has made all of us proud to be members of Ram Nation. Although tonight we won't be celebrating any playoff berths for our fall teams, we will celebrate 5 different teams as 5 different coaches do their best to capture some of the amazing moments that happen throughout the season. The order for tonight's ceremony will be cross country, girls varsity soccer, mountain biking, field hockey, and we will finish with boys varsity soccer. As a reminder, if you receive an award tonight, please remain after to have your picture taken with your coaches. Cross country, yeah.
Hello. Oh, there's a lot of people in here. Okay, Coach Predovit is making me do, oh, there you are, come up here. I'm making this by myself. In fact, can I get the entire cross-country team up here for me, please? This team had a challenging season, not only because they had to deal with 2 brand new coaches, but also because the team scores often did not count because we didn't have enough people running for us. However, that did not stop them from consistently showing up and doing the very best that they possibly could. So first I'd like to recognize our team captains, Isaac Carter and Lily Webster. Our most valuable runner tonight is someone who showed up consistently with positive attitude, always at the head of the pack, very disciplined young person who was always there when we needed him. Our most valuable runner for the 2022 season is Turner Watt. At first, I didn't think we were going to have a most improved runner because we've had such great gains on all levels here on the team. But someone surprised me at the very last minute and cut 5 minutes off their 5K time in a matter of 2 weeks. Just phenomenal. So our most valuable, our most improved runner this evening is Jason Chen. And last but not least, Coach Kredovic and I spent a lot of time discussing the Coaches Award, trying to determine who it would go to, because this is a really outstanding group of young men and women. It says a lot about a person's character when they will show up and not only cheer for their teammates, but cheer for their opponents and encourage them as they cross the finish line. And that's not something you can coach. That's just the way they are. And I think that's pretty amazing. So to single one out for the Coaches Award was extremely difficult. However, there is one person who stuck by Coach K and I and listened and did as we asked and put their trust in us every single time. And that person is Lily Webster. So I want to thank everybody for supporting us this season and also encourage those of you who may have been in strength and conditioning to come run for me next year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, girls varsity soccer. I just want to echo Coach Wilson's thank you to everybody in the athletic department. We really received a great amount of support from everybody this year. I really want to put out a tremendous thank you. Coach Carter, Mr. Carter, what he did for our team this year, the things that we had to get through. I don't know exactly how many concussions we had, but we definitely, we surpassed, I don't want to surpass that record ever again. His work with me, he and I talked more than probably either of us ever wanted to talk at sometimes about getting kids healthy, but I really appreciate his support this year. It was really great, and it kept us hopefully away from any kids having any further injuries, and I really respect that. I want to thank Coach Crompton. She was an awesome assistant coach. She really brought a lot every day. The kids really respected her. It was really great to have another person down there. She really understands kind of where the kids are at, works really hard with them, and it was just great to have her support this year. I also just want to put a tremendous thank you out to my captains this year. Fallon Hurley came in as our initial, going to be our captain that I selected, and then she did an amazing job, and then Taylor and Ashley also did an amazing job. They were voted on by their peers, so that was great. So thank you to the captains. A couple of things about this team. When we start the season, it's a whirlwind. We come out of summer, we go into a very competitive environment. Practices are hard. I didn't realize till last night, but of our 16 games this season, 8 of those games were against teams that qualified for the playoffs in Class B, C, or D, and 2 more of those games were against teams who were Class A. So 10 of their games were against probably some of the top competition you'll see. It's very impressive. The other thing that was really impressive about this group is that they only, in most games due to injuries, we probably average about 2 subs a game. If anybody knows anything about soccer and knows about 80 minutes of competitive physical competition, only having 2 subs, it's about as limited as you can get. These kids did an amazing job battling, supporting each other, being there, and aside from a couple of games, they were in every game with a fight. I don't think anybody walked off the field thinking that we hadn't given them everything we had, so they really did an amazing job in that regard. The final thing I'd just like to say as their coach, this is my 2nd year in this position. I truly just feel like this is probably it's as great a thing as you can be to be a coach. And I really treasure this time with the kids, and they really make it worth your while. It's something you always look back on. The one thing that I learned from my team last year that I thought was something I'll take with me was the idea of trust, that the kids have to trust you and you have to trust them. And that was a very valuable coaching lesson. And I feel like from this group, I really learned the biggest thing you can learn, and that is you can have fun and still have success. And you can have fun and still be gritty, and you can have fun and still get better. And these guys, I didn't really realize that as a coach coming into the season. I thought it had to be a certain way, and these guys were amazing. They had fun every day with each other. They supported each other, and they got better at the same time. And that's a lesson that I'll always remember. The ones you learn from the kids are the ones that you always remember. So thank you guys. It was amazing coaching you. So before we start with our individual awards, just a couple things. For our Lakes Region All-Stars, our 2 selections for Lakes Region All-Stars were to Taylor Edwards and Fallon Hurley. They were our 2 selections. And that would be most important.
All right, so I had the privilege of talking about our most improved player for this year. Really, I think our entire team was most improved. We started with a group of really strong athletes, but not so skilled always in the soccer realm. And I think we really grew throughout the year. We became some really skilled players, but really importantly, a really tough and aggressive and fit team. They worked really hard throughout the season to get to where they were by the end. But our most improved player was somebody who started again, working on their skills and starting out as someone who was working to become a soccer player. Very athletic, but had some things to work on and worked on those throughout the year, was extremely coachable, and ended up as somebody in our lineup that was extremely important for every single game. I think she was at every single practice, at every single game, was always there learning, working hard, and adding a lot to the team. So our most improved player was Eva DeCourcy.
All right, Coaches Award. I think that the biggest thing for a coach is going to practice every day and knowing that there's going to be a couple of kids that are going to set a tone for the day, set a tone for what you want to accomplish that day, that week, that year, every day, and every game situation. This player, as I told the kids when they first came into us as a junior and really struggled at first. She was not an immediate starter. She had some issues with some injuries. She probably didn't always like what I had to say as a coach, but she took the coaching very well. And as of the end of the year last year, came into her own as a player and a leader for us, or just a role player for us. But I knew when she came back this year that her role was going to change, and I made her a captain. right from the get-go, and I think everybody respected that right away. And she did not let me down all season long. Every single day she was there. Every single day she was the person that I wanted to have speaking on behalf of me when I couldn't, say something. She was that glue that kept us together. She had a great attitude, lots of fun, and I'm going to miss her tremendously next year. Our Coaches Award goes to Fallon Hurley. The next one. This one, again, a player that if you came to any of our games last year, you might have saw this player as someone that maybe wanted to score goals, maybe sometimes shot away from the moment, maybe sometimes didn't quite, get the most out of her ability, and probably was a little disappointed with her season last year. She came in this year, and right from the first game, I just noticed a completely different player. She was more physical against opponents. She set the tone. She knew what to do with the ball when she had it. She affected the game every time she stepped on the field. And astonishing, what I really valued was last year, a lot of times when I would look to see who was down on the ground, it would sometimes be her. And this year, right from the jump, I would look to see somebody on the ground and she would be standing over them. And that really was a great thing to see. It was a great step for her to take. The other thing I told her is, I could have put her at a more scoring level position, but that wouldn't have helped the team as much as where I had her on the field. And instead of getting individual glory, she was there for us every day. She played the position the way it was supposed to be played. She practiced every day the way she was supposed to practice. Great kid, all around, awesome. This most valuable player goes to Ashley Fonseca. Thank you, Danny.
So there we run a lot of cross-country trails. And one of the trails, you have to imagine it, there's a bridge, and right next to the bridge there's an angled rock. And if you go one side too low, you're going to bang right into the side of the bridge. If you go this side too high, you kind of get kicked up in the air a little bit, and if you go right in the center of it, your line is smooth and it's like riding on the street, and that is totally missing the point of mountain biking. So we do not do that. We try to hit the part where you go up into the air. Please give me the what's the word for it? We were shredding our. Thank you. So that's what we did. And some of the places where we did shred our this year, right? We went to Green Woodlands, we went to Raymond Hall, we went to Acres Park. We went to Memorial Ski Area. We went to Plymouth, we went to Page Hill, and of course we went to Highland where there was Nor that we were shredded. So we did a lot of that. And we also did a lot of video clips because you need to take video to shred Nor. So that was a lot of our year, but really the heart of our year was our cross country races. We had lots of races. We had 5 different races this year. And every single time we went, we got the same question. What's the question we were asked? Coach, does this course have a lot of uphill? And the answer is always the same because, and I like that. The answer is always the same. There's always the same amount of uphill and downhill, right? We always start where we finish, but they still ask. That's okay. So not always the same answer was the future of our mountain biking team. We have a lot of freshmen that were really great this year. Our finishes were better than ever. For instance, freshman Anthony and Aiden almost were tied after a whole bunch of races. Tyler was close behind, despite missing a couple races due to injury and bike issues. Nick, as a sophomore, did great. So Tilton as a whole scored better than we, I think, ever have in the time that I've been a biker coach. Aiden Snow went to the state championships. They actually did the Northern New England Championships and got 33rd in a race with 105 kids in it. So the future of mountain biking at Tilton was great. And also, before I turn over to Coach Mayer, recognize our seniors. Talk about freshmen and sophomores, but our seniors, Jacqueline Hanley, James Fagan, graduating after 2 years on the team, and Sophia graduating after 3 years of riding with us, 3 years of riding in a bus with a lot of other people for the sake of a pleasant ride through the woods. Thanks, Sophia. They're great. Let me turn it over to Coach D for some statistics.
Yeah, so just to expand upon some of the stats for the year, we beat Brewster by 200 points. That was a big win. So first off, I wanted to recognize Stats Aside. It's sort of one of the guys that was the glue of the team. Always tried to help us have a good time, but also tried to keep people happy and communicating well. So I want to give a big shout out to Nick Austin, our captain. And then back to stats. So this year we did most valuable biker a little bit differently because we went by the total points earners. So because we had student players that were within 1 point for the top points on the team, we wanted to give 2 most valuable biker awards. So it's actually a really interesting most valuable biker because we have different backgrounds for each of them. One of them coming from more of a road biker perspective, one of them coming from more of a downhill perspective. So if we just combine them, we might have a super biker, but we have Anthony Pizzamenti, our downhiller, and Aiden Snow, our road biker.
Hello, and I first want to thank Tara, Emily, Heather, and Chuck for supporting us through this season this year. We were pretty good health-wise as far as injuries and things like that, but these guys, since I don't work in the school, it's hard to navigate sometimes, and these guys are exceptional and helping me out was enormous. I also want to thank my daughter Erin for supporting us this year and kind of joining me with the group for coaching. Really excited to have her. It's rewarding to coach. I just want to say thank you to all of you, all the staff. Thank you. So we're excited to be here tonight celebrating and honoring our field hockey student athletes. Diving right in, we ended the season with a record of 3-13. No, not a winning record, but there were more positive moments, memories, and stats during the season. Senior night game was a highlight. We had a few firsts. The gameplay was exceptional. The best first-time, full-time game we played this season overall. Prior to the senior game, we struggled with a few health issues, but we persevered. Thankfully, every senior was able to take part and celebrate a great team win with that solid performance. Another moment that kind of developed through that game, and it was a standout moment, was that one of our players, Noelle Sarkis, scored her first high school goal.
Yeah!
It was so nice because the smile on her face radiated and her enthusiasm was contagious within the group. It was so fun to watch. These moments make all the hard work put in by the team worth it. Just seeing her and the team smile that evening was a true blessing. Before I read the stats, I first want to let a few kids know that it's rewarding for me to see siblings playing on the same team. I know I had my two children playing on the field hockey team back in high school, and it was so cool that they could work together. And I first want to let the Philippi girls know how rewarding it was to have them playing together this year. The love and care for one another is special, and we are proud to be a part of their journey at Tilton. We also have Annabelle and Maddie Violi here working hard and making memories. It's truly special as my own daughters have the opportunity in the high school world to feel hockey. Every athlete here is certainly remarkable. Okay, the stats: assists, individuals, and goals. So Charlotte Philippi was a leader in team defensive saves. Conley Lavish was a strong contributor in the defense unit, also having 2 goals this season. Alexin Moya, 1 assist, 2 goals. Ella Stanley, 1 assist and a goal. Maddie Rodrigo, 1 assist. Zofia Korog, 1 goal. Nicole Sarkis, 1 goal. Sophia King. No one. I'm reading how big. Sophia King, 3 goals, who had ended up in a defensive role, helping in the backfield, outletting and being explosive up the sidelines. It was really nice to see her fit in that spot. Mary Kelly had 4 goals and a hat trick goal game at Hebron. What an impressive season for Mary this was. So Anna Barton, who has been developing through this year, leads the team with 6 goals and 2 assists for the season. Anna is going to be exceptional in the years to come. We are so proud to recognize all these amazing student athletes this year. Everyone contributed on and off the field. But there is one truly dynamic and exceptional individual, our keeper, Sophia Brea. Sophia was monumental this year. With her hard work and agility, she defended shot after shot on goal, leading her to an unbelievable record. She saved 411 goals. It was pretty impressive. So I'm sure that's probably school record, and we are truly impressed with her work and goal this season, along with many other coaches on opposing teams. Because every time we would finish a game, they're like, "Wow, my goodness, your goalie is amazing."
So they wanted to steal her.
Yeah, they want to take it. No, not happening. So I want to congratulate everybody on the entire team. From start to finish, this team is developed into skilled field hockey players. We develop perception of gameplay, execution of transfers, finding pockets and spacing seams, and understanding transition from offense to defense. There are many levels of field hockey, and this team has grown to become a skilled competitor. We look forward to adding athletes to bolster our team and fill in the shoes left behind from our graduating class. Sophia King, Sophia Brea, Charlotte Philippi, Jasmine Dilker, Maya Earl, and Conley Ledovich. Thank you for the 4 years of dedication and commitment to the field hockey team. Charlotte Philippi, Conley Ledovich, and Sophia Brea with their captain's awards. They were captains this year, and they led our team. So, I mean, everybody in this group, they were, from when we started the first of the year, I was like, oh, yeah, we have to really work hard, and everybody improved immensely. It was incredible, the transition through game to game, it would change, but I know skill level and this and that for different groups, but we would play the hardest teams just at their level. It was just amazing how they could just transition, and it was cultivated through hard work, and I'm super proud of them. But so the most improved player this year, we awarded Noel Sarkis. So, Coaches Award, we looked at a lot of different aspects of the game, and it's always tough for every team to select kids because they're all wonderful people. But this year, our Coaches Award goes to Mary Kelly for overall player of the year. We're also going to nominate an MVP player. I believe this individual works because she was the most valuable player, Sophia Brea. With her So I'd also like to name a selection for the Lake Region All-Stars, and that's going to be awarded to Charlotte Philippi. Her defensive skill from middle school to now has flourished. I just want to say thank you all. Have a great rest of the school year, and I look forward to watching you with your upcoming seasons. Thank you.
So, first of all, circumstances. Can we look at this, please? So, there was some fear on Saturday that I may not have my voice by today, to the point that I instilled fear in Coach McKenzie that he would have to speak today. But luckily, my voice is somewhat back, and as the girls' soccer team, I'm here to tell you I am very loud, and a number of them hear me because of it, and I'm happy to coach them. So, but that being said, this season was a labor of love in a lot of different ways, but all for good reasons. I came in, as I say to many people, like a wrecking ball. The team was surprised by certain things that I demanded of them, but they took to it very quickly. And they worked hard throughout the season. It was difficult at times, some very, very difficult losses, but some real talent out there, and we made every team work for it. None more so than, again, Vermont Academy, who is the #1 seed, undefeated, and we took them 2-1 in halftime, and only lost 4-1.
That's a big accomplishment for this team. We punched above our weight class in a lot of different ways, and I really appreciate that. So that being said, though, I want to turn it over to Coach Goodwin real quick so we can talk about our seniors, since he has spent more time with them than I have.
Thanks, Coach. So just in order of the time they've been with the program, I want to recognize our 4 seniors this year. So first, having been with us for the last 2 years, Jack Christos is a kid who came out every single day ready to work. He was not in the starting lineup every single game, but it generally ended up once he got into the game, he didn't really come out. I remember a game where he came in about 5 minutes into the game off the bench, and I don't think he came back out. That was in a game we fought back to win against Winchendon, because when he goes out onto the field, he works so hard that there's no reason to ever take him off. So, round of applause for Jack Christos. The next senior I'll recognize was a guy who served as a captain for us this year. He's been with us for the last 3 years. Anyone who has seen Yede play knows that he is really exciting to watch. For those of you who got to see our comeback tie against New Hampton, he had a pretty electric goal there and then followed that up with a PK. He's a kid who has immense talent. He was selected not only as a Lakes Region All-Star, but he's going to be going down to Connecticut to play in the Senior All-Star game for the NEPSAC this weekend. So a round of applause for him. Next, we have a couple of 4-year seniors, 2 guys who I was lucky enough to coach their freshman year, playing JV with me. They were guys who at times practiced with Coach Ruggles then on the varsity squad, but came down to play some JV games with me. And ever since then, they've been 2 guys who went out and just competed every single day. So the first one that I want to recognize is Sam Mattis, a kid who just held everything together for us in the back all year. At practices, he was a kid who was trying to make everybody around him better. He's got so much knowledge about the game of soccer, and really was a pleasure to coach. So congratulations. And my final 4-year senior, Aiden Roy, is a kid who just came out every day. You've seen him play on the pitch. He plays tough as nails. He just will not stop running after the ball. He'll take on anyone of any size and just plays with so much heart and so much hustle. He had 2 big goals for us, one in our Proctor game this last week, and then a huge goal to start off our comeback in that New Hampton game. So congratulations to Aiden Roy.
Thank you, Coach. So, as I told these boys on the first Sunday back in September, I have a real passion for this sport and a passion for coaching. And that passion is fueled by the personalities and the attitudes that the players give me. And they've developed into a great group of student athletes with unique personalities and attitudes. Some I want to allude to. Lucas, love you, Lucas. Lucas told me very early on, took me aside at training one day and said, "Coach, put me at center back. You'll see something you've never seen before." So I did. Lucas quickly understood that the Lakes Region's teams and the size of those teams are not the place where he wants to play center back. To which later that week he said, "Coach, I don't want to play center back." We're fine with that. We also watched Dahmer on Netflix on the way to Kent Hill, so that was a little concerning as well. That's how you prepare for a game, that's fine. Another player would be Sebastian, our star goalkeeper. And I was trying to have him train in a conversation around being impactful and being forceful and asking the players what animal they would want to be. I got some of the usual: tiger, dragon, but with as much confidence as I've ever seen in a student athlete before, Sebastian says, I want to be a gopher. So he's our gopher. I don't know how sounding it makes still, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I have stickers that say I want to be a gopher, so if anybody wants them, come see me. Okay. Last one that I want to kind of highlight is Ben. Ben started with us a little late and then promptly took out 2 coaches in training. Coach Goodwin, I think on the first day of training, that Ben was with us. Yep, and that was still there. And then Coach McKenzie later on in the season with the ball right to the face. But Ben has been dynamic. Ben never having played soccer before, stood up, took his personality and attitude, and as I said, collectively the team came together to everything that you saw on Saturday. Coming back up from 2 goals down twice to tie, and honestly that tie felt a lot better than a lot of wins in my career. So honestly, let's clap them again. Awards. Tonight, a little bit different for the boys soccer team. We do have a coach's award, and then we have what is a new award. No MVP, no most improved, and not because we don't have MVPs, but I think at any point throughout the season, any number of these players were both valuable in the game or on the bench. So, but the first award is the coach's award. For me, for as long as I've been doing this, I've found that often the most frustrating player is the player that you learn the most from. And the player that you develop as a coach from, and I've learned a few things from this player throughout the season, as I hope he has learned from me. Started out a little rocky, didn't see eye to eye, that's okay, it happens. But by the end of the season, this individual became what the team needed, took the captain's armband late in the season for a couple of matches, and helped drive that game this past Saturday. So the coach's award goes to Gavin. So this is something that I talked about again on that first Sunday in September, and something that I talked about with my coaches and then with Coach Brisson in terms of an award. And this goes back to my own childhood and very close to my heart. Growing up in northern New Jersey, we played basketball, not soccer. And our motto for our CYO basketball league was hustle, pride, desire. And that's something that has followed me throughout my entire life, whether it be in athletics or just in my career or in my life in general. So I asked Coach Brisson if we could have a Hustle, Pride, Desire award, because this is something that I put on the team on that first Sunday and told them that I wanted those 3 things out of each of them, individually and collectively. One thing that I talked about on that Sunday, and I'll just quickly go through it here. Pride, if you go through the Webster's Dictionary, and I'll paraphrase here, pride is defined as confidence in oneself, pleasure that comes from some relationship, association, or achievement that is seen as a source of honor. Desire, paraphrasing again, willful impulse toward something, whatever that may be. And hustle, to obtain by energetic activity, to play a game in an alert, aggressive manner. So as we look throughout this season, and as I look at the players on this team, the one that stood out the most is the one that probably would have played out there in a full body cast practice. And he would have done it to the very best of his ability, and would have just said, hey, can you go in? Yes, coach, I can go in. And then he would have stood out there in his full body cast and did absolutely everything that he could have. So the first Hustle, Pride, Desire award goes to Ryan Vermel. That's it.
Let's quickly just give another round of applause to all of our fall season athletes and coaches. As a reminder, if you received an awards night, please stay after to have your picture taken with your coaches. Let's go seniors who are dismissed.